You guys, make sure if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, do it. You should be subscribed.
Right
you should be getting
there.
notifications. You should be putting us in your pocket.
Put it right there
I
in
mean,
your
we
tool
may
belt.
fit there. Mock will probably fit in it, and then I'll hang out a little bit, you know? I'll be like overflowing in your pocket. But make sure you're putting us in your pocket. You should be doing that.
Mm-hmm. Or
And
right in
watching
that tool belt.
in your tool
It can
belt.
also fit in a tool belt.
Either place where it will fit. But definitely do that and make sure you are catching up on the news. Chickified every single day. And then also make sure you check out Healthy Cell if you haven't checked out Healthy Cell, because we suck down that goo every day. I probably
It's the healthiest
need
goo
to not do
in
that with
Goo
my
Town.
hands. I should probably not do that with my hands when I talk about Healthy Cell. That's going to be the YouTube.
Yeah, that's going to be the
thumbnail.
thumbnail for sure.
Gonna be the thumbnail. But yeah, Healthy Cell. They're our BFFs. We love them so much. I use the immune support. Which one are you using? The vegan one?
The
Even though you're not
vegan essentials. Yeah, this is healthycell.com/chicks is where you can get all the delicious goo. And I did it too. That you need to stay healthy. Healthycell.com/chicks.
Do it.
You guys, yesterday we mentioned that there were these 4 Americans that were kidnapped in Mexico, right across the border, as one of the women and I guess her 3 friends. I'm not exactly sure the composition of that group, but the woman was going for a cheap tummy tuck. These people were driving all the way from South Carolina.
Oh my
They were going
God.
all the way from South Carolina, crossing over into Mexico. They get kidnapped, and then 2 of them were found dead with gunshot wounds. 2 of them are back. But now there is the highest possible travel warning alert from the US government to the United States citizens saying, freaking don't go to Mexico. I'm paraphrasing. It doesn't really say that. But
Yeah.
if I were to make a warning, it would say, freaking don't go to Mexico. Crazy people.
You know, we got to do something about this as a country. The first thing we have to do is get a president with balls. That would be the first thing that we should probably do. Because remember when we had one of those? You all remember?
I do remember.
Yeah.
Good times.
Mm-hmm. I have a kid. I have kids that are supposed to go to Mexico next week. Why? I don't know. Mainly because they're young and they're gonna go. And this is the thing. They still think, oh, Mexico, woo. You know what I mean? Oh, they're safe places. Yeah. The problem with Mexico now is that you have to like go to unsafe places to get to safe places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless you have a helicopter that lands directly on top of a safe resort, you got to go to a Mexican airport, and then you got to be driven from that Mexican airport to your resort, which is quote unquote safe. And some way along the way, anything can happen. And that is why I just think that is a terrible idea.
Not only that, but why are we giving money to that hellscape? Just don't give money to it. You know what I mean? It just feeds. Just don't. I used to love Mexico. I honeymoon there. It's a beautiful place. But right now it's like, I just don't even want to give any of my money to that place. It's kind of like, I don't want to give money to California.
Remember, like after Shawshank, because of course Shawshank is our favorite movie of all time in space, the best movie ever. But that movie was like, I want to go to Zihuatanejo, and I did, and I didn't think twice about it back in the day. You know what I mean? Like I was like, Zihuatanejo sounds like an amazing place. We should go. And we just did, and we didn't even consider that it might be a bad idea, and it wasn't a bad idea. So now it's a bad idea. Just don't go.
Yeah,
I don't know,
guys. It's bad. Get busy living or get busy dying. That's damn right, Colleen. That's damn right.
Is there a better movie?
There is no better. This is why when Mock and I became best friends. It's like it was like Step Brothers. She was like, "What's your favorite movie?" I'm like, "Shawshank." I'm like, "Did we just become best friends? Did we?"
It's so true. Because there's just not a better movie.
No better movie
ever. Right. You fight me. There's just not.
Exactly.
So we're going to get into Tucker because there's a lot about Tucker that we need to get into. Chiefly among those things about Tucker is that there was no extra footage last night. Now, I was at a lacrosse game, and so I didn't get to see it. But there was no new footage, and you have confirmed that this is
there wasn't. And then I started thinking, well, maybe he's going to draw this out past 2 nights. You know, maybe that was the goal there. But I'm not so sure. although
it better not be pressure, because there was obviously a lot of pressure, which we'll get to that too. But before we get to that, I do want to mention that there have been, you guys know, or have you been following this whole Dominion versus Fox lawsuit? So there's a lot of, discovery happening in the midst of that huge lawsuit. And part of the discovery, apparently yesterday, it came out that there were text messages from Tucker to another Fox colleague in which he says that he passionately hates Donald Trump and couldn't wait for the moment where they could just stop covering all of the post-election stuff. And so
I can see that.
Yeah, he says he called Trump a demonic force and a destroyer. And so what's interesting is that I saw that this morning and I immediately went to True Social to see if Donald Trump was reacting to that. And I don't know if he hasn't heard that yet or what, but the only thing that Trump had posted was like, great job, Tucker, on exposing the whole January 6th thing. So it's all complimentary. And then I'm like, I know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when he hears about that.
He's going to come up with a nickname. That loafer wearing weirdo.
I have a feeling he might just replace the T in Tucker's name with another letter.
With another. That would work. That would work really well. Yeah. I mean, I can see this. I can see where he probably, and Tucker is pretty good at getting along with people and, being friendly, and then probably being like, I don't like that person very much, but I'll get along with them. It's fine. I'll, get along to go along. I can see that.
But what is this going to do to people? Because there's so many people who love Tucker and Trump,
and thought that they were BFFs.
Right. I don't know how. I don't know how people are going to react to that. I know we've got a lot of super Trump fans here.
They'll revolt. They will do what they'll do exactly what they do to us. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. You said something mean about Trump. I'm out. I hate you. They're gonna.
Don't do that, because
that's exactly what they're gonna do to Tucker.
They'll
totally revolt. It'll be a revolution. This is what they do.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll get to how Tucker's show went last night. But before we do that, want to remind everybody that at omahasteaks.com right now, 50% off of everything. This is their semi-annual sale. This happens just right at springtime, right? This is their springtime semi-annual sale. They want to get you ready for the warmer weather with barbecue goodness, you guys. So whatever you need for your barbecues, whether it's steak, burgers, brats, whatever you need, sides, you can create your own package at omahasteaks.com, your own special container full of yummies, or you can just choose from one of their pre-curated delicious selections. And all of it is 50% off for the semi-annual sale. If you use code CHICKS when you check out, you're going to get another $30 off your order. There are minimums. But you can get a $30 extra bunch of money off of your order on top of the 50% off. So make sure you're checking out omahasteaks.com and let us know what you think of those berry tartlets.
Easter steaks, you guys. Get some Easter steaks.
Ooh, Easter steaks.
Easter's coming up.
Every day is Easter to Daisy.
Right.
She eats steaks every freaking day.
I know, right? I love steaks. You just don't get the bacon wrapped one that you can rationalize. I didn't get the bacon wrapped one. I can eat them every day. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's like diet. It's like diet steaks. It's totally fine. Yeah.
It's diet steaks.
Diet steaks.
Okay, so let's get into what happened on Tucker last night. I know all of us, because of his promotion about it, we were all expecting more, right? More footage, more of an expose. It wasn't like that. In fact, I'll show you the beginning, and then apparently throughout, what you're going to see first is one clip of the very beginning of the show where he is reacting to the reaction of his reaction to January 6th.
That's the title of this podcast.
Right. And so there's a lot of reaction, and he kind of plays a montage of all the different news organizations just absolutely losing their minds. And then the second clip that you're going to see, which is a little on the longer side, but it was impossible to cut down, is Chuck Schumer, which hence my name today, Mock Schumer. the Chuck Schumer like absolutely lost his mind yesterday, not only on the Senate floor, but in front of reporters. I mean, he was just like, Tucker's basically the Antichrist. So Tucker talks about Chuck Schumer's reaction, and then also offers his own. So here are those two clips.
Access to the footage is not hard. That's what you're supposed to do when you work in the news business. Other media outlets went crazy. They all did. And we just couldn't resist, not to be self-referential, but it's too hilarious. So we assembled a montage. Here it is.
It's so great.
What we saw tonight, Allison, from Tucker is nothing new. He has been trying to sanitize the very real violence that we all saw unfold at the U.S. Capitol.
41,000 hours of footage from an attempted coup is federal evidence. How on earth is Kevin McCarthy trying to justify to fellow members of Congress giving 41,000 hours of federal investigative evidence and material to Fox News?
This is the danger of not fairness, unfairness. You should give it to every news organization at the same time.
What's next? Is the Speaker of the House going to turn over the daily schedules of the Capitol Police? Are they going to give them the codes to the locked doors?
Nobody that believes any of that garbage Tucker was spewing, none of their kids will ever believe that garbage.
It feels like a Soviet system, or the way the Nazis would build a Potemkin village. Tucker Carlson's doing the same thing with the footage from 1/6.
Footage. We're both Soviet and Nazi. What you're hearing, of course, is panic. It's fear. A hurt dog barks.
That's right.
Yeah. Ken Burns is my favorite. Everything is Nazi to him. Everything. That guy is he has like pubic hair on his face. I just I cannot deal with that guy. It's constant. Nazi. Everything's not. Okay.
Well, and we should point out, because all the idiots that you just heard from won't, but Kevin McCarthy wants all 41,000 hours to be, everybody should have access to that.
Totally.
It's not like it's just going to Tucker. He sent it to Tucker first. There is no objection, and he is completely in favor of every last bit of footage being available to every last American. There's no reason that we shouldn't have access to that. And what Tucker did is simply showed other stuff that J6 didn't. So he showed all the people running out of the building with the Capitol Police, not just Senator Hawley, which is January 6th's committee's idea of fairness. So showing another side is completely freaking everybody out. And he showed laughable.
And he showed Shaman Guy being escorted around.
Right.
He showed it, and that was a completely different narrative than what we've been seeing over the past 2 years. He's showing a different side, which is the real side, and not the crafted narrative that we've been seeing over the past 2 years. And it's opening a lot of people's eyes to let's face it, government crafts a narrative. We've seen that time and time again. If you think otherwise, then I have, tidal wave insurance to sell you in Indiana, y'all. I mean, come on.
Right.
We haven't seen this before. A lot of us know that. And I think these people on the other side, they want so badly to cling to the lie. They just want that. They want to believe so hard that their government wants what's best for them. They want so hard to believe in Big Daddy, right?
Yeah.
And that's just simply not the case. And God bless them for wanting to believe that. But, I can't help them. It's like, it is what it is. The footage is the footage. And and it's like, when they see that, what do you think Don Lemon thinks when he sees the shaman guy getting escorted around? How did they explain that? None of those people were explaining that. They weren't explaining it. They were just like, oh my God, this is sanitized by Tucker. Do you think that he actually edited that footage? Because he didn't. He didn't. It is what it is,
Right. I feel like, if anything, he just sort of closed the circle and is trying to point out not everyone at the Capitol acted like a lunatic. And that's the message that keeps getting lost. And so now everybody's complaining as though we're all sitting back and saying it was 100% peaceful.
Exactly.
Nobody is doing that. There were people there that day that did horrible things.
Absolutely.
That should absolutely have gotten every last bit of justice, right? Because they did awful things. They were destructive. They were violent. They hurt people, and that is not okay. But we can recognize that because we've seen all that footage, and also recognize that J6, the whole committee, completely tried to paint every person in attendance as a violent extremist. And that's the problem. There's actually a balanced story here.
And do you think that it was a planned insurrection? No. I don't think it was like this planned thing. I think it was a bunch of, dumb people that were just like, oh God, let's go in. Yay. And then it became an out of hand ordeal, and dumb people did some dumb things, and they probably should be obviously behind bars for that, or they should be, punished for that. But there are a lot of innocent people in jail right now. A lot of innocent people, which sucks.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is that they also are twisting Tucker's words in a way. Like, when you remember when Tucker said they were sightseers, there were people that were meek.
Yes.
Those are the two words that he used, and they are harping on those out of context.
Right.
So Tucker did not say every last person was meek and sightseeing. He did not disregard the fact that there were violent, destructive people. He simply wanted to point out that, there were a whole lot of people there that were literally just following a crowd and looking around and just taking it all in, and did not mean any harm whatsoever. And those people should not have their lives destroyed for it. That's all. It's just a balanced view. But Chuck Schumer, he has lost his mind, and you're going to see some back and forth between him and Tucker.
Last night, millions of Americans tuned in to one of the most shameful hours we have ever seen on cable television. Fox News host Tucker Carlson ran a lengthy segment last night arguing the January 6th Capitol attack was not a violent insurrection. I don't think I've ever seen a primetime cable news anchor manipulate his viewers the way Mr. Carlson did last night. I don't think I've ever seen an anchor treat the American people and American democracy with such disdain.
Oh my God.
There's nothing that shameful that has ever appeared on American television in the history of the medium. And so, on the basis of that, the self-evident outrage of showing the public video that it paid for and has a right to see, Chuck Schumer called for the censorship of that video. Any information, and he did not dispute that it was accurate, that damages a storyline his party constructed and used must be squelched. And Schumer was explicit on that point. Because that video contradicted lies told by the Democratic Party, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, Chuck Schumer demanded that our bosses pull this show off the air.
Unreal.
He's going to come back tonight with another segment. Fox News should tell him not to. Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, tell Carlson not to run a second segment of lies. I urge Fox News to order Carlson to cease propagating the big lie on his network, and to level with their viewers about the truth behind the efforts to mislead the public.
So dramatic.
Conduct like theirs is just asking for another January 6th to happen.
God, it takes him so long to spit stuff out.
I know, right? He's like looking around. He's like, I practice this in front of the mirror for a very, very long time. I'm acting.
Well, and we need to talk about if the squelching did happen, because again, there was no new coverage. But before we get into that discussion, I wanted to share with you guys an email that I got from Shauna Moore. This was so cute. She said, "Dear Chicks, I hope you're fully boned before reading this message. I hope everybody else
I'm boned, just in a different cup. I'm boned. My
Bone
chick's
Frog
cup.
coffee." She says, "I faithfully listened to you and have heard all of your praises of Genucel. As I was approaching my 50th birthday, happy birthday, I decided it was finally time to give Genucel a try. I ordered the most popular package, read up on how to best use the products, and gave it a try. Within 1 week, I started to notice my skin changing. My face was softer, less dry. It appeared brighter. For my 50th birthday, my husband took me on a cruise to the Bahamas along with my best friend and her husband. Of course, my friend made me wear a big 50 crown on my birthday. I know the cruise staff work hard for tips, but you guys, None of them believed I was 50, and it wasn't just the cruise staff. Fellow vacationers were saying it too. One lady couldn't believe I have a daughter turning 25 because she thought I wasn't a day over 35.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Now, 4 months into Genucel, I've ditched my foundation since my skin tone has evened out and no longer looks dull and dry. My daughter's getting married in April, so I ordered the eyelash enhancing serum. I'm applying it once a day in hopes of having the full thick eyelashes of a little boy that is sick of hearing about his long eyelashes, so he cuts them with dull scissors by the time of the wedding. Stay tuned on that. All the balls from Shauna Moore.
All the balls. Good for her.
Right?
Genucel's the bomb, you guys. It is the bomb.
Such a great testimonial about the most popular package, which is the most popular for a reason, you guys. It's got all of their best products in it. If you go to genucel.com/chicks, you're going to get 70% off of that most popular package. You subscribe and you can get a free beauty box plus free shipping. So they're just throwing all the good stuff at you when you subscribe. You can check out all of their products, genucel.com/chicks. We have been using them for years and years and years. I like to think that that is how I sort of maintain what I can maintain.
Yeah, totally.
Fantastic, fantastic products. Hope you check them out. Okay, so Tucker said, Chuck Schumer was trying to squelch him and calling for the show to be taken off the air, etc. Obviously, he was on live last night, but there was no new footage. So
yeah, it does make you wonder, like, what the hell is going on? Now, I would hope that he wouldn't kowtow, that Tucker wouldn't kowtow, but it does make you wonder, like, what did they do? Did they tell him? Did the powers that be tell him, don't release any new footage? Because we were all expecting new footage.
Yeah, that's how it was told.
Right. And then he concentrated the whole show on reaction and how everybody was so crazy and butthurt and freaking out and losing their minds and basically like threatening him. So it makes you wonder, like, did that happen? Did they say, don't release any new footage? It's kind of crazy. What is happening in our country? What is going on?
I don't know.
This is nuts, you guys. Like, they have a narrative and then they wanted to stick with that narrative, and people on the left are so clinging to that narrative. And then you dare deviate and like actually put the real footage out there. And we all know like that they really wanted to stick with that narrative. I mean, I look at like a Liz Cheney and she makes me sick to my stomach. Like the Adam kissing, like that clip that you played where Adam crybaby was in there and he's like, no one's going to believe it. Really? Really? Because
real video footage? They're not going to believe real video footage? Okay.
Because a lot of us do. A lot of us see the real footage and we know what's going on. We really know. We're on to all of you. So you can suck it, little crybaby. It's like we know what's happening here. A lot of us do. They think the American public, or at least half of us, are stupid. Half of us kind of are, because they're falling into that trap of the government really wants what's best for me. And I love the government. It's great. I'm going to go ahead and wear this mask and get this jet.
Vote for Fetterman.
And I'm going to, exactly. And I'm going to do all the things they tell me to do. But then the other half of us, we're awake. We know what's going on. And so, it's just very disheartening. It's, we're all watching this and we're like, what is going on in this beautiful, wonderful country of ours?
And then, anytime, like Kinzinger is a perfect example. So he goes on all the talk shows and he's like, nobody's going to believe this, whatever, he cries, blah. Why doesn't anybody have the sense? Not a single solitary journalist asked him, hey, how do you explain the Hawley thing, for example? So why in your committee did you allow the entire room to bust up in laughter and make it look like Josh Hawley was running scared when in fact he was the last in line of a group of people running? Why did you do that? Can you explain? But they won't just ask him that question. They won't force him to answer that question. And I don't get it.
More, I think the thing that I'm even more irritated about is that, Chuck Schumer gets up and he says those things. What about folks on our side of the aisle? Where the hell are they?
A lot of them were agreeing. Like McConnell got out there and was like,
God, useless. And, Turtle man. Did you hear him? Did y'all hear what he had to say? He was just like, he should be basically following what the Capitol Police said. Really? Turtle man? I mean, that guy is a disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace. Like people on our side, where are the people on our side of the aisle to stand up for us? We are their constituents. They should be standing up for us.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it. So it's kind of like to Tucker's point, and he made this point a couple times yesterday, and he did it on purpose, with purpose. I am certain of that. He's like, they're all on the same side. Those people are the Republicans and Democrats alike. They're all on the same side. And we need to take that to heart. Like that should be terrifying to all of us. They're all in the same boat, you guys.
Which is why that's when term limits look more and more attractive.
Right.
Right?
Get them out of there. We need to get them. We need to get them all out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. And again, I don't know what Tucker's doing tonight. Maybe because I thought, well, maybe last night was just about wanting to react to the response and just make fun of that. And that's fine. And maybe he was saving more footage for tonight. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So anyway, speaking of Senator Hawley, he was on last night to break down this whole Fauci revelation. I don't know if you guys have heard, we've been meaning to talk about this for 2 days, but of course the J6 stuff has taken all of our focus away from this. So apparently now it's been uncovered that a study or a report that Fauci used to cite, or that he cited in order to make people think there was no way a lab leak was possible. He cited a specific study that we now know he actually commissioned and edited. And so the conflict of interest is extraordinary. And it's kind of a big deal. So there's 4 pieces of this montage that you're about to see. The first is going to be Hawley. I think it's talking to Hannity, breaking down the story itself. Then there's going to be a clip from Anderson Cooper interviewing Fauci and asking him not about that, but whether or not he plans to testify with this new Republican-led committee. And does he think that they're going to be nicer to him, essentially?
Oh
and
my
then they
God.
end up just making fun of Rand Paul.
Oh my
it's just
God.
Anderson
Cooper. He is the worst.
The worst.
He is. Yeah.
Then you're going to see Gutfeld making fun and drawing a really good analogy about how ridiculous it is that Fauci ever cited the study to begin with. And then to wrap it all up, Jesse Waters talks about how, and you had actually wanted to play this yesterday. We just never got to it. Jesse Waters talks about how Americans we're just addicted to the lies.
Right.
And so it's a nice sort of wrap up of the whole set of 4 clips. Here we go.
What about this memo that was created at the request of Dr. Fauci, and now new evidence suggesting that not only did Dr. Fauci prompt the drafting of this publication that would disprove the lab leak theory, is it true he might have edited and rewritten parts of it and then quoted it as an independent source when in fact he was actively involved in it? Is that true?
Yeah, I've seen the news reports, Sean. I don't know if it's true that he was actively involved, although the news reports certainly suggest he was. He did cite it from the podium. What we do know is that Fauci actively worked to discredit the idea, the I believe fact, that this came from a lab, that COVID was a lab leak, originated in a lab leak. He actively worked to discourage that, to discredit that, when our own government was collecting intelligence that suggested it did in fact come from a lab. And this is why we need to let the American people see it. No more take our word from it. No more trust the bureaucrats. No more trust Fauci.
Right.
Let the American people see for themselves.
And this was used as an independent source when he himself called for the original letter. I think that's an important point.
Yeah.
Senator.
That'd be nice.
Senator Paul just today on Fox News accused you of orchestrating a cover-up. Do you have any reason to think the new Congress is going to be any less contentious? Or do you think they're actually interested in seeking the truth?
Wait a minute. Can we just pause for a second?
Where is he looking?
Fauci?
Yeah, where is he looking?
His eyes are in 2 different directions in that still. Yeah, but can we just pause for a second and recognize what Anderson just did? He said, yeah, so Rand Paul's accusing you of a cover-up. Hey, do you think that this new committee is going to be nicer to you? How about Rand Paul's accusing you of a cover-up? Did you cover it up? Like, where is the journalism?
There's no journalism. You have to remember, this is the guy who got drunk on national television on New Year's Eve. You remember? Let's do shots. Let's do shots, you guys. Shots.
All right. Here's the rest of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, Anderson. I don't really want to comment on that. I mean, the most important thing we've got to do is stick with data, stick with science, be transparent, and be honest, which I have been very much so, literally, for the entire 50 years that I've been at the NIH and the 38 years that I directed the Institute. So that was an unfortunate interchange with Senator Paul, but that was Senator Paul being Senator Paul.
House Republicans on a committee probing the pandemic say they've uncovered new emails that show Fauci worked to discredit claims that COVID leaked from a Wuhan lab. Said in February 2020, Fauci prompted researchers to write a scientific paper to disprove the lab leak theory. Then weeks later at the White House, cited that same paper as evidence that the theory was bogus while acting like he didn't know its authors.
There was a study recently that we can make available to you where a group of highly qualified evolutionary virologists looked at the sequences in bats as they evolve, and the mutations that it took to get to the point where it is now is totally consistent with a jump of a species from an animal to a human. I don't have the authors right now, but we can make that available to you.
Nice try. Even the bats said, what a load of guano. You know what this is like? You know what Fauci did? It's like a restaurant writing its own Yelp reviews to deny that they poisoned the customers.
Oh, my God, yes. It's so true.
Jesse, I try to be nice to Fauci.
You do?
But I'm beginning to think he's a liar. But I mean, when he says totally consistent, that means nothing. It means nothing. It's not even, it's barely a correlation. It's not a correlation. He was covering his ass.
Yeah, and he got caught.
Yeah.
And now he needs to pay for that. So he funds the Wuhan lab, and then everybody starts dying. And then he covers it up and says, everybody stay inside until you get a shot that I get royalties from.
Right.
And there's like crumbs of evidence that lead right back to him, and the media doesn't care. The media is dead. And he's going to have the book come out where he's going to tell all these lies, and he's going to go on all these shows, and no one's going to ask him a damn thing. Is because this country is too invested in the lie. Pfizer, the big media, the big tech, the U.S. government is too invested in the lie. So when you're living a lie for that long and the money's that good, why give it up? They
and
can't
you believe
give it up
it
at this point. And I'm beginning to think that he's never going to pay the price for that.
No.
And that really me off, Greg.
Really?
Same.
Yep. I wonder what Jessica Tarlov thinks about all that, you know, because she's one of those people, she's living the lie. You know, it's like she's on that side of the aisle. They all live the lie. It's like they absorbed it for so long. I mean, he's so right about that. Like all your friends on that side of the aisle who like wore the mask and got the jab and like they were so invested, and you know, and they put it on their kids. And so what are they going to do now? Are they all of a sudden just going to be like, oh my God, we were so wrong, you guys? It's like
a few of them are, very small few of them are actually owning it.
I guess it's a tiny percentage, because when you're that effing wrong, it's so hard. I mean, it's like cognitive dissonance, right? I mean, it's so hard to take ownership of that awful, that your wrongness. You know what I mean? You can't.
Your wrongularity.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're tackety. Like you can't. That's got to be tough. It's got to, first of all, let's just sit with that for a second. It's hard to do that. It's hard to say, I suck that hard, that I was that dumb, that I fell for that. It's like being married to somebody who doesn't love you, and you think so hard that that person loves you, and that person the whole time has been scamming you. Mm-hmm. And then you are like, shit, this person doesn't want what's best for me. And you've got to sit with that. You got to like come to terms with that. People don't want to do it. This is why they don't want to do it. And that's exactly what liberals are doing right now. They can't. So they want to sit with it. They want to stay with the lie. They're going to stay with the lie, you guys. This is who we're dealing with. These people. Sucks.
Can I just say a point of personal privilege that some lovely person in the comments just said that they missed the floral painting that used to hang behind me. And that just makes me so happy. You guys, I get made fun of so much
by our producers
who are like, that's a funeral painting.
They're like, that is the ugliest effing thing ever. You have to take it down. Like they've been hounding her forever, and she's been holding on to it. She's like the liberals with the lies, you guys. She's the liberal with the lies. It's her with the painting. It's Mock with the painting.
I love that painting when I bought it like 24 years ago, but I get that it's out of style. But I took it down. This whole room is getting painted, and so it's going to be lighter. I'm probably not going to have anything on the walls. It's just going to be like over the rail is going to be like a just like a very light silvery gray. And then
you guys, you should have done. You should have done like a poll and asked people what color to paint it.
People need to realize we don't give even half a shit about this house anymore because we're leaving it. We're not even going to refill our china cabinet. Like we had to undo the whole china cabinet just to clear out the room. And we're just going to pack all the plates up, like, because we're not going to use them again before we move. Right. So
not even half a shit about the house.
Not even a tiny little house.
Not even a sliver of a shit.
But thank you so much for commenting on that. I mean, that was so nice. Anyway, moving on to more news. So as you know, we were at CPAC last weekend. We did a whole lot of different radio shows as guests, which was really fun and overwhelming and super busy.
Completely tiring, but fun.
Very, very tiring. Mm-hmm. The one interview that we conducted was with presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. And we had a very interesting, as we mentioned, private moment with him. Like it was a whole weird thing setup wise, but very, very nice chat with him. He went on Stuart Varney yesterday, perhaps the day before, to talk about that straw poll. Okay. So, the straw poll at CPAC where Trump is basically on top because it's a Trump event. CPAC is Trump. It's a Trump
event. Right.
So no one expects otherwise. But what we did not know was how the rest of the straw poll actually works. And this was a huge eye opener. Check this out.
This trumps GOP. I think that the America First agenda and the people who are behind America First are really committed to putting America first. Not Trump first, not Vivek first. It's America first. And what I saw there, I gave a speech. We got 5 standing ovations in the middle of the speech. There's also a funny little secret I learned, Stuart. I'm new to this as an outsider. One of the things you see as an outsider is how corrupt this system is. You know something funny about this? I've attended CPAC before. I didn't know it works this way. A consultant calls my campaign shortly after I declare and says, hey, we can get you up to number 2 on there if you pay a few $100,000.
Really?
I was shocked. And you know what? There's a lot of people who are making money,
not only
off of me, but off of every presidential campaign. This will probably be not only the most expensive presidential campaign, the one that people in the industry, politics is an industry, people make so much money off of this that one of the things I'm going to be doing throughout this campaign is exposing it. Because you know what? I didn't get to where I am by actually just getting exploited. And I think the American people actually deserve to see the sausage getting made.
Did you pay?
Absolutely not. That is fake. So why would I want to
get bumped up to number 2?
I said I would take my speaking slot instead. And actually, people can see that speech on my website, Vivek2024.com. See the speech and see the crowd's reaction. And I think people should be the judge of what's really going on in the grassroots rather than the astroturf that we see in the paid industry of partisan politics.
Vivek, you are a dynamic and compelling candidate, and it's all.
Indeed, he is.
Somebody said he can cry all he wants to. He's not crying. He's probably not going to win. But it's good that he's exposing this stuff because that is crap. This is exactly what's wrong with politics, you guys.
There's way too much money in it.
Totally what's wrong with politics. So I'm glad that he's saying this stuff. And I love that he's getting out there and he's like, I'm saying all the things. Screw all y'all.
Yeah.
This is exactly what's wrong with politics. And you know what? CPAC, the reason that they're gouging people like that is they need the freaking money. They're spiraling the drain. They should have never made it the Trump show. As much as I like Trump, they should never make it about one person. That is why they will die. CPAC will die. You know what? And good riddance.
Honestly, should never. If that's how they operate. For real, good riddance. Because
you should never do that. You should never make it about one. You should never make it about one person. That's not what. The political landscape should be about. It should be about everybody and equal footing. So
it makes me just feel like you can't trust any. Polls are ridiculous anyway, but this makes me just not trust any of them even harder.
None. Exactly. Hillary Clinton was going to win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Give me a break. Yeah.
We should mention too that this Saturday, our entire interview with Vivek is going to be released, as our deep dives always are. So it's going to be released this Saturday. I posted one clip on our TikTok, our TikTok last night, and there'll be others that are coming out. They're trickling out, so you can get little teasers in advance of the full interview. But you can see or listen to the full interview this Saturday, so you should definitely check that out. Okay, DeSantis yesterday, apparently he was getting killed in the media because of some like Florida state rep who had proposed legislation that bloggers in Florida would have to register themselves with the government. And so all these headlines started screaming, DeSantis is basically a Nazi, and look at this legislation that he's probably going to sign that's going to like make bloggers register. Well, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And DeSantis did a nice job explaining that to the reporters that were asking about it yesterday. Here it is.
You here get this, and you're probably not the ones doing it. It's like, every person in the legislature can file bills, right? I see these people filing bills, and then there's articles with my face on the article saying that, they're going to have to, bloggers are going to have to register for the state. And it's like attributing it to me. And I'm like, okay, that's not anything that I've ever supported. I don't support. I've been very clear about what we're doing. And so people have a right to file legislation. They have a right to do different types of amendments and all that other stuff. But the Florida, a whole 120 of them in the House and however many in the 40 in the Senate, they have independent agency to be able to do things. Like, I don't control every single bill that has been filed or amendment. So just as we...
Can we just, look at this comment.
I know. Well, first of all, his name is Soros, not Sorts.
And second of all, you should actually go back and watch the full interview with George Soros before you make idiotic comments like that. That is utterly and completely false. Okay. George Soros is hoping that there's a knockdown, drag out fight between DeSantis and Trump, because what he believes is that Trump will then be so mad because DeSantis is going to lead that Trump will then go third party, because George Soros wants Biden to win. So before you start making false statements like this, actually listen to the interview instead of just believing headlines. I'm sorry to make an example of you, but this is the kind of shit that makes me crazy.
Yeah. Reading headlines and not reading actual articles or watching actual interviews. It happens all the time.
Crazy.
Yeah, conservatives are guilty of that.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry that I got mad about that, but
anyways, it would be off. Going back to the blogger thing, it would be really awful if any blogger or any podcaster or anything like that had to actually register with a state. That's bogus. It's stupid, and that should never happen in a free United States of America. Period.
Oh my gosh.
It's just stupid. And I don't know why people make up stupid rumors like that. It's just dumb. I don't know why people, in fact, that's the kind of stuff they can't like sue for that kind of stuff. If people like throw articles like that out, they don't have time. It's like whack-a-mole. You know? They just can't do it. Speaking of whack-a-mole, when I saw Fauci in between Pence and Trump, that's all I could think of. Just FYI. That's honest to God, I have whack-a-mole in my brain. I wanted one of them to like whack him. I know I'm not like this. I don't condone violence on this show, but that's honestly all I could think of when I was looking at that. I was just like, somebody just take a mallet and do something with that little mole. Can't with him.
Oh my gosh. All right. Totally switching gears now. Do we want, because I know we're getting a little, well, I guess no, we're okay. I saw an interesting blogger guy or a podcaster guy come through on my TikTok feed the other day talking about the whole student loan thing. You guys know that the Supreme Court met recently, or they were going through the hearings about whether or not Joe Biden's executive order to forgive student loan debt is actually a constitutional thing. And so I thought this was a really interesting breakdown of the whole student loan hullabaloo. And it made a lot of sense to me. I thought it'd make a lot of sense to everyone here. So here it is.
Debt crisis does not exist. It is an exaggeration sold to you to blindfold you into supporting what is effectively welfare for the affluent. The average student loan payment is about $300 per month. That's a headache, not a crisis. And it's something that a responsible adult who pursued a degree that made sense and made reasonable choices can't afford to pay off in most cases. Now, when it comes to student debt cancellation, there's no such thing as cancellation. It's a transfer of the debt from the people who have the degrees that will earn them $1 million more over their lifetime to taxpayers, including the 2 in 3 Americans who didn't go to college over age 25. A University of Chicago study even found that the top 20% of income earners, those rich that the progressive love to tell us about, they will get 6 times more benefit financially from full student debt cancellation than the bottom 20%, that the working people that Bernie and these people stand for.
But why?
It's a scam. It's a transfer of wealth to the Democratic base. People who went to college, people who advanced degrees. In fact, the biggest beneficiaries of the Biden administration student debt pause, which the interest payments are being forgiven, guess who they are? Doctors and lawyers, according to the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It puts a Band-Aid on a bullet hole because it does not address the root cause of the problem, which is exorbitant college tuition prices.
Exactly.
But that's caused by a basically blank check federal subsidies. Econ 101, inflate demand, prices go up.
I mean,
right.
Blammo. That couldn't have explained it better, right?
Yeah, Blammo is right. But people don't care. They're just like, pay for my crap. Somebody else needs to pay for my crap. It's your responsibility and not mine. Oh my God, grow up.
For real. Well, and if you really want to know exactly why everything is so borked with student loans, Google how did Obama impact the student loan industry? And you're going to see that is when he federalized the whole system, that is what has driven prices up. That is what has made the whole thing fall like a house of cards, because he ruined everything. He's the one that is the reason for college.
Well,
when you subsidize something, just like that guy said, as soon as you subsidize it, colleges have no incentive to lower prices. Right. When the government keeps guaranteeing that all the loans are going to get paid, why would they? Yeah, that's why it has happened.
Obviously, you're a racist, Whitey. Obviously.
Well, I mean, it's true.
Yeah,
it's completely true that he is responsible for everything wrong with the student loan industry. He is responsible. We got to show one more clip, and that is a nice little montage that was put together by the folks at Grabian, who did a fantastic job of showing Democrats super freaked out about Trump back in the day, that he was putting us in a position where we were constantly dealing with endless wars.
This is my favorite.
Trump.
This is my absolute favorite montage of the day.
Yeah. And you're going to see a whole bunch of Democrats who are not singing the same tune these days. Check this out.
Fighting for as long as it takes. And that's how long we're going to be with you, Mr. President, for as long as it takes. We'll do it. Thank you.
Well, we're on the brink of World War III because Donald Trump took the worst possible option given to him in a slideshow.
In this country, we have begun to overestimate the dangers of impeachment and underestimate the dangers of a deranged president retaining control over a nuclear hyperpower.
We cannot wait around while Donald Trump is in control of the nuclear weapon.
Your objection to potentially going into World War III cannot be procedural.
The biggest danger of the Trump presidency is that we are always just a Trump whim away from nuclear war.
They say it's World War III, but I'm looking out my window. It's very quiet in those smoking craters out there.
Has to be told that it's his job to avoid World War III.
One Democratic congressman sent me a note this evening and say this president wants this war.
A future administration needs to find a way to put an end to the forever wars.
And new normal, and the new normal is forever war.
But there's a big difference between ending the forever wars, which he wants to do responsibly, and what seems to be President Trump's rather itchy Twitter finger.
The objective needs to be to end the forever wars.
If Congress does not want to go to war, now is the time to start putting restraints on this president. And again, they've been giving him green lights all the way.
Maybe it's because we're going to take on the military industrial complex and end endless wars.
Every American needs to wake up to the shenanigans of the military-industrial complex and how much hundreds of billions of dollars are spent only because of short-term profit maximization for military defense contractors as opposed to America's legitimate security needs.
It's long past time we end the forever wars.
All of this, though, risks more of a proxy war than I think we're going to have a stomach for.
And ending our forever wars so that we can better serve our constituents at home.
When it comes to unlimited war, we seem to be able to invent that money very easily. And to me, it belies a lack of moral priorities that people have right now, especially the Republican Party.
It's unreal. It's just unreal, isn't it? It just makes your blood boil.
And now they've all got their Ukraine pins.
And now they're like, they got their pins, and they're like, as long as it takes.
As long as it takes.
And then, let me sniff your hair. Oh, Zelensky, it smells so good. It's so thick. So thick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like how they just turn on a dime. Turn on a dime. Yeah.
Okay, it's time for whack. Let's get into whack. I will share my screen unless you want to.
Yeah. No, it's just listen.
Okay.
This chick, if you think that you have a weird relationship, you got nothing on this chick. She is in sexy times with airplanes, you guys.
Well,
this is what she does.
Who
she
wouldn't be? I asked
sexy
you.
times with airplanes. She has 5 tattoos of airplanes. She has gone, I think, on 30 airplane rides. She's like,
what does she do?
I don't even know how she pays for all this. That's what I was wondering when I was reading the article last night. She's had relationships with tons of different aircraft. She, I don't know what this is called. There's a name for it, Mock, and I can't read it. There's a name for this. There's a name for this actual type of relationship.
Objectum sexual. That's what she identifies as.
That's what she is.
Objectum sexual.
This is because there's a name for all this crap, you guys.
Objectophilia.
Okay, that's a thing. And she's like, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. So this is the thing. And she says it's actually, she says this, and I don't know if it's true, but she goes, it's on the autism spectrum. And I don't know if I believe that or not.
That
and
she is?
She says she's on the spectrum.
Huh.
Yeah. And so she can only love objects, and she's really in love with aircraft. So she sleeps with one every night. She sleeps with and I don't know if they're hard or if they're blow up airplanes. I don't know what they are.
Well, she says that the wings are the sexiest part of the airplane.
Well, I mean, right.
What in the world?
Right. So that's she's.
My God. Oh, there's a tattoo.
That's it. I mean, it's actually a really good tattoo. I'm not gonna lie. It's
very detailed.
That was very good. It's very detailed. It's a nice tattoo. She has 5 of those.
5. Yeah.
1 of 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she likes to get her jollies on with airplanes, you guys. This is what people do. Now, we've heard of women having relationships with like bridges and
that's right. That's right. I was about women. This is familiar in some weird way.
Right. I think cars, we've had, people doing it. I don't know. Can they do it with cars? I don't know what they do. I don't know how I
saw a guy that was like because he had the same thing with like a girl car.
Yeah.
And so they showed a picture of him like right underneath a tailpipe looking like sexually at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
it's like Tammy's like, Lord Jesus, come back. Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you. It's like, I think it's time. It's just time. It's like we got people.
No, Mary, it's not supposed to interest you. This is our whack segment. So I mean, perhaps you're new here.
What is she
like,
mad?
And this is somehow supposed to interest me?
No, it's like it's she must be new here. This is the sack of whack. Welcome to our show.
Right. Welcome to our show.
We talk about crazy people. And this person likes to do it with airplanes.
I love the person who's
welcome to the chicks on the right.
Hey, did you see the wings on that plane?
Yeah. So that was your whack for today. So if you think that you have a weird relationship, you don't. You really don't. It's not weird. You're not doing it with a plane. You're not doing it with a plane. So you're okay. You're okay. Fine. Yeah. You're all right.
All right, it is time for some My Pillow talks. I got an email from Shelly Harrison who said, "Hey, Mock and Daisy, I got the 2.0 pillows because that's the big special right now at mypillow.com/chicks are the My Pillow 2.0
awesome.
high-tech temperature regulating model. She says, I love them. Now I'm wondering if they will make My Pillow sheets 2.0 that keep you cool.
That would be so great for menopausal people.
She says, I think that would be a game changer. I would be first in line to buy them. I would even fight my way to the front of the line. Mike Lindell, please make my dream come true, she writes. She also says, I love starting my day with you. Listen to this. This is true devotion right here. She says, in Seattle, it is 4:15 a.m. In Alaska, it is 3:15 a.m. And it's still worth the listening and interacting with the tailgaters at such an insanely early hour. You make me smile and always give me things to think about. Love you bunches. Balls from Shelly. She's watching early, y'all. That is early.
That's so great. That's very sweet. I have to say that Anita made a comment about that airline chick. She says, I bet she flies Virgin a lot. See what she did there?
I
see what you did
I
there,
saw somebody
Anita.
else saying something about how he thought she would prefer the engine because of the thrust.
Or what about the cockpit? You guys are bad.
Airplane jokes.
So bad. Keep it going, you guys. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going all day. All right, here we go.
One of our favorites, J.L. Mock, has one of her new little skits that is perfect. She's always so good at acting out how crazy leftists are and how much they don't think through their own arguments. Check this out.
What are you guys up to this weekend?
Oh, shoot. Hang on. Hang on. I don't have my sound right. Let me just fix my sound really quickly.
I can totally hear it. Okay.
I think it'll be better if you can. Okay, let me rewind.
All
Here we go. Here we go.
What are you guys up to this weekend? Usual, taking the kids to church, you know. Wow, talk about brainwashing. Excuse me? I mean, I just prefer to let my kids think for themselves. Sure, but kids need guidance and stability. I would never expose my kids to such ignorant, unscientific thinking. Well, actually, science and religion aren't. I mean, I guess if you want to manipulate your kids and expose them to potential abuse, go ahead. What a horrible thing to suggest. Of course not. It's such that you'll never catch me throwing dollar bills at nothing but a greedy man on a stage pretending to be something that he's not. You know what? Bunch of hypocrites. I don't think we're going to agree on this. Why don't we just talk about something else? Like, why don't you tell me what you have planned for the weekend? Oh, we take the kids every single Sunday to a drag brunch.
Oh my God.
Isn't that everything that you just... Do you think you could break a 20 for me? I really need some singles for this weekend. What are you guys up to?
So great. So great.
So perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, for those of you who don't know, Daisy used to have a dog named Tessie LaRue, boxer.
She was the best dog.
The world's most perfect dog. She was
She
so
really
precious.
was.
And
Perfect.
she had a face.
She had constant RBF. It was like perpetual RBF. Do you guys know what RBF is? It's resting bitch face. She had it. But she was anything other than that. I mean, she was the sweetest, most loving, perfect dog ever.
So sweet. So this isn't a completely relatable boxer video, but I thought you would love it all the same because this dog does not have a Tessie LaRue face. This dog has a whole other kind of face, and I'll let the owner explain.
This is why boxers are my favorite breed.
Oh,
they always have this look on their face like they owe you money and they're really, really worried about it and they're worried you're going to ask for it back. This is why boxers.
It's true. It's
That
so
dog owes you money,
true.
man.
That dog is like, oh my God, do I have to give you that five spot today? I have to do it today? Crap, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh my God, I love that.
I love her face.
Tammy hates. Oh, has. Okay, Tammy has boxers. I thought she said she hated them, and I was like,
Oh, boxers are so great, Tammy. I just love them so much.
She's got one, yes. Okay, here is how a progressive mother tries to play a game with her kid.
Okay, so does your person look like they've been a victim of systemic racism?
Mommy, I don't know what that is.
Like, does it look like you have a racialized minority?
I mean, what does it look like that's
Like, do you have a POC? Is your person a POC?
Mommy, I don't know what that is.
Does your person look like they should be given reparations?
Mommy, I don't want to play this anymore.
It's so great. That is so great. Mommy, I don't want to play with you. You suck.
I don't want to play
You
this
suck,
game
Mommy.
anymore. You're going to love this. So you all remember, or perhaps you still do this, making snow angels, right? In the snow, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I remember that. I remember that. Yes.
Everybody, I hope if you've never made a snow angel that you make sure that you don't end your life without doing that at least once. Okay?
I don't ever want to do it again, but yes, I have made lots of snow angels.
I would still do it. I would still do it. And so what's amazing about snow angels is that apparently horses like making them too.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh my, my heart. Oh my gosh, that is just the sweetest.
I just
horses.
I never like watching horses fall down. It's like one of the worst things ever because they just look so heavy.
They do roll. They roll around like dogs, though. I mean, they really do. Oh my gosh,
I just love that.
That is so neat.
Also, have you seen the videos where people will put arms, like stick arms, on birds to make it look hilarious?
This is one of my favorite things that people do in videos. Oh my gosh.
I love it so much.
Oh my gosh.
This is very short, but it's hilarious because they put arms on roosters. You guys watch.
Oh my God. The greatest thing ever.
They have arms and skis.
The best is when they put arms on an eagle, and then they put machine guns with it.
Yes,
it's so America, you guys. It's like everything America. I love it. I am so there for that.
Oh my God, so great. I don't remember what this is. What this is? Oh yeah. Okay, so this dog hates packages. You guys, look at this.
Really?
Hates them.
Oh, it's a little dog. That dog. He's got Napoleon complex is what he's got.
Oh my God.
That dog.
Are you okay, Zeus?
Did he just say, are you okay? Did he say, are you okay, Zeus? Did he just call that dog Zeus? Yeah. His name is Zeus. Of course it's Zeus. God.
Anyway, that was crazy. And then, okay. I have never seen a dog look more like a cat than this dog. And I think it's just a greyhound. I think it's like one of those small Italian greyhounds.
And he looks like a cat.
It's so catty. Look at this.
That's a dog?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
And that other dog is just like, what?
That dog's like, chill, brah. Chill. You need to just relax and simmer.
What a complete spaz.
Oh my gosh. That dog has no friends. No friends.
He's carrying around by himself too. He's just like, I'm just going to jump around.
Oh God. It's a crazy dog.
Wow. That's some high energy.
That's not okay. I could not have a dog like that. I just couldn't.
And then lastly, I think we've got some more cat slaps because cat slaps are super fun to watch.
I think that's kind of fun. Yeah, the cat slaps are fun.
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh. All the dogs. That's great. Cats are mean.
Wow.
God, they're mean.
They can be
Are you coming over here? Are you coming over here? He sees our cows. Are you coming over?
Oh.
He sees Gunner and Linus out there. Come here. You gonna say hi? Come here, Mr. Big Butt McGee. Come here. Come here. Come here. Say hello to everybody. Come here. You got to give me a kiss.
Come on, Flappy McGee.
Come on. Oh. Gonna flap? Are you gonna flap? Come here. Now he's got the zoomies. He hasn't flapped, you guys. There's no flap. You gonna flap?
No flaps after that many kisses? Wow. Yeah, show him. He's just
very excited. He's looking at our cows are out there, you guys.
Oh,
so he sees the cows. He's distracted by cows.
Distracted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no flaps. Well, maybe you guys will get double flaps tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, okay, it's Wednesday. Everybody. Oh, we just flapped. You guys didn't hear it. He flapped.
Shoot, I missed it.
Sorry, you missed the flaps. I hope everybody has a great Wednesday.
You didn't bring it in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not bringing it in. There's so much to do.
You guys.
He just snorted and flapped. Nobody's hearing it. So much snorting and flapping. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.